I am sorry for disappointing you guys today. So I decided to have a home baked cake because the cupcake I used to buy from ShopRite is not giving me the nice taste of cake. The only cake I get to enjoy is the one I used to buy from Pick and Pay, and that is if I have any celebration like a birthday cake. But as for their queen cake, it is always too much sugary. The same thing from ShopRite cake. So because I used to know how to bake cake when I was in secondary school, I decided to bake cake today. And of course, after watching online videos and also TikTok videos, tell me why I will not bake cake in peace. So in my empty bowl, I added my butter and my sugar. With my full confidence, I was sure of what I was doing. At some point, I decided to do something new by putting that butter and sugar in my blender to blend them together so that it would be fast. But I later said, no, let me just do it the natural way. With all the struggles of life, I was turning this thing to see if I can get that creamy texture in different positions, different patterns, and different styles. At this point, my hands were paining me, but I was heading somewhere. Having in mind I was gonna enjoy this cake, and I wanted to use that yogurt to make the creamy part of it. That is the icing sugar of it, butter icing. So after the whisk of the butter and sugar, I set it aside, and then I brought out my flour to sieve them. At this point, everything was still in place. Of course, after sieving the flour, it's not yet time to add it, so I set it aside. Then went back to my butter and sugar, added 3 pieces of egg, then started giving it this good stir. Please, people should judge this cake. I am sure I'm not wrong. I'm still doing the right thing at this point. So the question is now, what happened to the cake? Where is the cake? After mixing this egg with the butter and sugar, I went ahead to add my baking powder. My brothers and sisters, are you guys still with me? I hope you understand it. The moment I opened the baking powder, the thing mistakenly opened and spilled in the flour. But I feel like it was not too much, so I added the 1 spoon. Then I assisted it with half spoon of salt. Oh my goodness, measurement, where are you? I feel like I'm now creating my own recipe. This is no longer cake. But in my mind, I was still baking cake. My creativity has started. I have started creating my own recipe like play. The cake I've been announcing I wanted to bake, I have finally baked it today. You guys see what I baked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for disappointing you guys today. You know, Lerato cannot do shit. Lerato that knows how to cook very well today is just disappointed. I'm sorry. After I added my egg, thinking that when I add my flour, it's supposed to be thick. But it did not give me that thick texture. Because if I add that thing, it will give me thick. Then I add make it become soft again. So that was why I brought out that flour again. I used almost all this flour. When I was adding this flour, I was like, is it too much? I said, no, it's not too much because the milk will make it soft again. At this point, I was already thinking of how to open my own bakery, having in mind to partner with ShopRite and Pick and Pay. I was already thinking that I can be selling my cupcake like 2020 rand. With this thing I'm doing, thinking I'm doing the right thing. So when I finished mixing this thing, I added my milk. But I feel like this milk was too watery. Could it be the milk that was my problem? Or maybe my air fryer or the flour? When I was new to South Africa, I tried baking cake and came out with Rock of Ages. Now that I'm almost how many years in South Africa that I'm now Lerato the cook, I started to bake cake. I end up baking a tombstone. This time is going to be a spiritual problem. Or could it be my ancestors? Should I say my village people? Or my enemies? Or should I suspect my spiritual husband or Ndimiri? I added my baking powder thinking the cake was supposed to rise, but it did not rise. At this point, I'm supposed to convert this into bread. As the first one was baking, I started to make the second one. And you know the cake is in 2 batches. The other one is vanilla and the other one is strawberry. So since the vanilla was already baking, I started to mix the strawberry. This strawberry is not giving me actually a pink color. It's supposed to turn pink color. But maybe next time I'll go and look for the powdered one that will give me the actual texture. I kept on checking this one in the air fryer. The upper part were done, but the down part were not done. This is when I started suspecting that this cake have problem. Starting from the moment it was hot, it was still becoming tombstone. I kept on thinking and checking about my life, whether this thing is a curse. Okay, let me hold on and wait for this second one, the strawberry one. At some point, I noticed that the strawberry one was taking long to be done, so I decided to join everything together. At least let them all cook together. This is me thinking about how my creativity has failed me, and this is the waste of money on a tombstone cake I picked this night. The cake did not come out well. Maybe tomorrow I'll bake bread. See you in my next video. Love you and bye.